All right, it's media day. We're talking 17-6A, and you got Cy-Fair head coach Jeff Miller with us. Coach, rare time that you see a team win their first game, lose their last game, and then win everything in between, which is what you did last year. You won the 10 games in the middle there. Talk about how great a year it was for the Bobcats, because you're coming off a year that's not Cy-Fair like, and the year right after that you pull off 10 wins in a row, you dominate the district. Talk about how everything kind of fell in place for you guys this year, past year.
Well, in 21 we were so young. You talk about it wasn't very typical Cy-Fair. One of the things was, I can't have the guys that have been here go back and ask them the last time we played, 10 or 11 sophomores in the season. They hadn't done that in maybe forever, and that's what we did in 21. Just real, extremely young, and that's not an excuse. It's just kind of reality. Still had a pretty good year, but, coming in then to the 22 season, obviously we had a lot of kids returning. We felt like we just had, one or two positions that we were trying to replace, and everything else was, we were just kind of continuing what we did from 21. Got off to a little slow start there, the first 2.5 quarters against Bridgeland, and just kind of fell in a hole and couldn't get out of it. And ended up getting beat, but then put together, a really nice little 10-game win streak. Beat a lot of really good football teams and really started gelling. With changing up kind of the old Cy-Fair way, I guess, if you will, offensively. We threw for 3,100 yards last year, which I know there have been years, maybe a decade that they've had come close to that. But, and it's, we're just kind of taking advantage of what our personnel, what our strengths are right now.
Yeah, you talked about how it wasn't traditional Cy-Fair ways. There's many times last year where I looked at the score book and then I had to quickly make sure that Coach Miller was still over there. I was like, who's coaching this team now? What's going on? But you bring up how all sophomores were juniors last year. Well, now it's a kind of different flip now. Now you got a very experienced team. You have Trey Owens out there throwing around with Connor Porter out there and Owen Carter out there, and you guys got some offensive linemen coming back. You got to kind of feel good about the experience you had, especially compared to 2021, where you may have been nervous. Oh man, I got 11 sophomores. Well, now it's probably a different feel going into this year, right?
Well, offensively, especially, we do. We have, I think nine of the 11 starters are returning, and some awful good football players. Obviously, it kind of starts with the quarterback. Watching Trey develop. He was one of those sophomores in 21 that kind of struggled early. But all in all, but watching his maturity and what the quarterback and the leader that he's become is really been fun to watch. And but we're able to put two, or actually, three really good, but we feel like are college football player receivers around him. Owen Carter, of course, is kind of the guy that's gotten the most attention. He's committed to Rice, and then Connor Porter is having had a great year last year and had a great offseason, great summer so far. And then, of course, Cooper Stevens, the tight end, that's that'll play college football as well. So you put those three guys out there. Got a couple of running backs that we really like, Jamel Nickerson and John Kelly. And then, as you mentioned, those offensive linemen, some of those were really struggling a couple of years ago as sophomores, and they've really grown up. They've grown into, pretty good sized men now that are pretty good football players. So offensively, if we obviously stay healthy and continue to improve and, stay within what we're capable of doing, we feel like we can be pretty successful on that side of the ball.
Let's talk a little bit about the defense, and I guess I'll start off by focusing on Landon Rank. I mean, you talked about not having a lot of sophomores last year. Well, he was a sophomore and a unanimous first-team selection. Just talk about him on the line, and then some of the other guys you have coming back.
Well, Landon's it's hard to even explain what kind of player we have in Landon. First of all, he's so passionate about the game, and you always hope that your best players are your hardest workers, and there's no question that there's nobody that outworks him. He loves this game. He has a great personality for it. He's a natural born leader. We talk about, his motor never stops. I mean, he's on full go at everything he does. When he walks into the locker room, he's up on his toes, bouncing and ready to go. There was a college coach here watching him this spring, and the defensive coaches were talking to the DBs, and so he was just kind of standing there waiting on the next play, and it was 45 seconds or a minute or so, and he never quit moving. He was just walking around, just pacing back and forth, talking to the other defensive linemen. He can't sit still, and it's kind of exemplifies how he plays. I mean, it's just he feels like that he can make any play. He's unselfish. He'll do his job because he knows he trusts his teammates around him. But he's the type of guy that makes everybody around him better. And speaking of that, I mean, we did lose quite a few good defensive players, so we're looking to replace them. We need to get some help in the secondary. We lost some, two of our three all three of our beginning of the year starters last year, and one of them ended up getting hurt. So we had one returner, David Bob, back there at free safety, and he's going to be a really good football player for us. He played the last half of the season last year. We really like him. Linebackers got several coming back, and it's kind of a mix and match there with Damian Shelvin and Thomas Boyd and Colton Ford, and those guys all contributed last year. Got to just continue to. They got to continue to improve. Austin French back there in the secondary had a good season for us last year as well.
Talk about battling those other 4 teams like Jersey Village and Memorial, Stratford, trying to get that district title, and how difficult it is year in and year out to find the 4 teams to make that postseason.
Well, there's a lot of really good players on those teams that you're mentioning there. And Memorial, Coach Kotz, those guys are, my gosh, I mean, they're as well coached a program as there is anybody I've ever played against. Same with Coach Rankin and them over at Stratford. They put out good, hard-nosed, talented football teams every year. Kids are going to do right. They're going to play right. They're going to act right, and very disciplined, and they'll get after you. Village has been, Coach Snookhouse has been around a long time and won a lot of football games, and it's not by accident. He knows how to put people in the right position, and they play hard. And he's probably got as talented a squad as anybody, in the district right now. So, you line those 4 up, and they can beat anybody on any night.
Well, it's going to be a fun race again. 17-6 always is. So I appreciate you joining with us, Coach, and good luck with your senior-laden squad there, and see what y'all can do this year.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.